This is a sad day for the United States. These service members serve their country with pride, and they have been the victims of these shootings. We are conducting this as an act of domestic terrorism.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, indeed a very, very sad day for America. Four Marines killed, 3 others hurt. And this all happened in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Naval Operational Support Center and Marine Corps Reserve Center. It was Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz, a naturalized citizen from Kuwait. There was a warning tweet of sorts put out earlier, reportedly, with the hashtag Chattanooga. And joining us now is Jonathan T. Gilliam, former Navy SEAL and FBI agent, president of U.S. Continued Service. Jonathan, I welcome you. You know, my first question is, when I read that the entrances to this facility had no guards, they had some deterrent for cars where they had to slow down, but unmanned entrances.
Yeah, well, Steve, I'll tell you, you know, these recruitment centers and a lot of these reserve centers are the biggest soft targets in the Department of Defense because they're relatively unguarded. I mean, the recruitment centers are basically, you know, welcoming and open to people because they really want people to be able to walk in. But we don't live in the same day and age that we used to, and so this is something that they really have to look at. And I apologize for the road noise, but I'm here in Manhattan.
No, that's fine. And also, you know, the policy, we go back to Fort Hood, where the soldiers there weren't carrying weapons. What is the current policy with allowing U.S. military personnel to carry weapons?
Well, they can't. When they come back from overseas from fighting in a war, they're not allowed, for whatever reason, to carry weapons even on base. And this is a problem because, I mean, the attorneys are going to tell you because of posse comitatus, which is the law that does not allow military to be used inside the continental United States or against the United States citizens. Rightfully so, that law exists. However, military is now one of the biggest targets for terrorists. So we have to start rethinking this a little bit, and even carry, then they should.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties with Jonathan. Go ahead, Jonathan.
But they're not.
All right, Jonathan is fading in and out. We've been having some. Go ahead, Jonathan. No, okay. We've been having.
You got me now?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as I was saying, this needs to be rethought out because these are the biggest soft targets. And as far as carrying weapons on base, you know, the military is one of the biggest targets for terrorists, and especially international terrorists now. They need to start rethinking these policies, at least giving, you know, 1 or 2 people that work at these facilities, like a recruitment center where it's wide open to the public, where they have access to weapons or somebody is authorized to carry a weapon. I myself don't see why, as soon as a military veteran steps onto a base, why they're not allowed to automatically carry a weapon. They're all trained in those.
It would make sense, especially in this day and age, as you alluded to. And once again, from Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz, we could infer that there was some kind of terrorist, you know, ISIS-type influence.
Exactly, and in all these cases, as you brought up Fort Hood a minute ago, had the military veterans that are on base, I'm talking about active, even former or contractors that are veterans, had they been allowed to carry weapons on the base, Fort Hood would have ended in about 2 seconds. The same thing with this. So this individual was allowed, and it's very suspect. His name is very suspect.
Yep. Well, we're going to have to find out more. Jonathan, always great to talk to you, sir. Appreciate it.
You got it. My pleasure.
We welcome in Robert Bud McFarlane, former National Security Advisor to President Reagan, architect of SDI, and of course himself a decorated Marine veteran, 2 tours in Vietnam, also CEO of McFarlane Associates. And Robert, always great to talk to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Very sobering moment, Steve, but I appreciate joining you.
Well, it is, and I know I just want to touch on this, and I know we don't know any more than what I've already said, basically. But where the 4 Marines were shot and killed and 3 were hurt at the Naval Operational Support Center and Marine Corps Reserve Center in Chattanooga, they say the 2 entrances to the fenced facility have unmanned gates and concrete barriers. I've heard stories of bases in the past here in the New York area where first there were no guards at the gate, then they had unarmed guards at the gate. You would think in this day and age, does it make sense to have these two entrances to the facility to be unarmed, to be unmanned?
No, it's a matter of the sequester of funds to do what is needed in the way of security in several dimensions, but surely the physical security of a facility like this, unfortunately, the military has had to make priorities, and of course the most significant targets will be protected better than those that are not deemed to be as significant. However, that puts any human being that is involved in those on the lesser end of the scale at great risk, and at a time of hatred being expressed in violence by radical Islam, at any target that's vulnerable, we have to expect, unfortunately, this kind of savagery.
Yeah, no, and it is very sad. Okay, I just want to switch over now to the agreement that was announced yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess now, by the president and John Kerry. And what do you think of the Iran deal?
You know, it is very disappointing. Far from constraining the Iranian nuclear weapons program, this has guaranteed them an assured way over time to become a nuclear weapons state, to economic strength, and to the wherewithal to become a regional power throughout the Middle East. And it is just astonishing that our government has reached a point of incompetence to promote this kind of thing as serving the national interest.
No, absolutely. Do you feel that, I mean, first of all, I mean, because you've been in the national security position, the advisor to President Reagan, how do you sit down in the first place with a country that is killing Americans and has killed Americans, and based on this deal, the killing of Americans, the funding and initiating of terror, using proxies to destabilize the Middle East and attack Israel, holding U.S. prisoners, none of that entered into these talks? How does the United States go to the table with a nation with this baggage, and how are they able to act separately from those issues and concentrate on just this?
Well, it makes no sense. Clearly, the president was looking more for something that served his interest personally, that he could describe as a legacy item, while ignoring all of the things that this doesn't even impact, and coming away with an agreement which I hope does not succeed, but an agreement which enhances Iran's ability to become a regional power, to become once more quite robust economically, and for facing very little restraint, if any, in continuing their nuclear weapons program. It's just not a coherent way to approach an engagement. If you want to engage, have the agenda for engagement include all of the things that ought to concern us: the leading sponsorship of terrorism throughout the region, their animus toward Israel, their ambition to become the dominant Muslim power in the Middle East, and of course their nuclear weapons. Bottom line, my goodness, this is a country that acknowledges having killed 500 Americans already, and that policy continues unabated and unaffected by this agreement.
Yeah, no, it is tragic. Robert, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Steve.
All right.
Always.
Take care. Up next, Tom DeLay, ladies and gentlemen. But first, Donald Trump continues to rise in the polls. The question is, could he win the nomination? Does he have your vote? Please vote for your favorite candidate in the Newsmax poll. Simply go to newsmaxpolls.com. Newsmaxpolls.com. Cast your vote.